Hi there, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to today's video. I was recently telling a friend how consciousness had helped me recover from a terrible nightmarish hallucination I was having after brain surgery. And she said to me, well, I guess that's something that you can get help from, even only when you're in some kind of a drastic situation. And I said, no, it's actually available to us all the time, and it's the reality that we can live from in each moment. And that got me to thinking about how do we explain what consciousness is to somebody who hasn't heard of it before? Well, Christ consciousness can be called any number of things. It's who we really are. It's our I Am-ness with God. It can be called consciousness or awareness, the real you, your true self, any number of things. But it's the life that you and I share with all other living parts of creation with God, who is the only power in the universe. And God can also be called by any number of names. It can be called the universe, divine intelligence, divine source, divine power, whatever. But the Bible tells us that there's only one God and Father of all, whatever we call that power. So if you want to know your true self, I would suggest that you do this. Just get still and just in this, and just look inside of you. That's where God is already. Jesus told us the kingdom of heaven is within you. So just find a quiet space where you can just relax. And you're going to notice that thoughts pass through your mind, just like clouds passing through the sky. As long as we don't give attention to them, they'll just pass on by, because our thoughts are not consciousness. So instead, you can just perhaps notice your breaths, or you can repeat a word to yourself. You can say God, or Om, which means God, or love, or whatever you find comfort in, that just is a repetitive thing that is just a sweet word to you. The Bible tells us that God rewards those who diligently seek Him. So if you have a hunger and thirst for experiencing God, just be patient with yourself. Don't set any expectations for how you're going to encounter God. That would be your mind taking control of the stillness that you're in. So as you're sitting still, even if you have your eyes closed, you might see a tiny little speck of light. Or perhaps you could notice that your body temperature changes a little. You might just find that you feel this energy in your body, which just says to you, I'm alive. A part of your body could tingle or vibrate a little bit, or you may feel nothing in your body at all, but you might find a tiny bubble of joy that rises up inside of you. And that's telling you that your desire to know God has been heard. It may just come as a soft whisper into your soul, and that's enough. That's your first glimpse of consciousness. Now, your mind is going to probably try to trick you into believing that you're just making up this stuff and that you can't possibly be one with the source of the universe. So don't resist any thoughts or feelings that rise up. Just let them come up, whatever comes up, and just notice them. But hold on to that tiny bubble of joy, because as you hold on to it, it's going to expand. Just watch it. Enjoy it, and it's going to grow larger. This brings a deep peace and joy into you in this space, because as your true self, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to heal, there's nothing to strive for, and there's no higher place for you to be. You are perfect and complete as consciousness. You'll begin to discover that all your answers are found in this present moment in stillness. There's peace and there's love here that invites you to just simply let go and just to be. With this shift in your own awareness, you're going to begin to notice that everything that you need is found in the moment that you're in. The Bible tells us that God has given us everything that we need for life and godliness. And all of God's wisdom is already inside you. As we surrender to divine intelligence, we're going to begin to let go of judgments and resisting the moment that we're in. We will start to have an inner knowing that the moment we're in is here for our greater good. And as we relax and let things go, we'll find that the universe will start to we'll start to notice that the universe is bringing situations into our life that allow us to let go of the thoughts and emotions that don't serve our good anymore. I heard Louise Kay say, the more we let go of attempting to control life, the more life supports us to flow in harmony with it instead of fighting against it. Waking up to consciousness is simple, but we need to be kind to ourselves and give it time. It's a progressive unfolding of spaciousness in our hearts. We all have layers of thoughts and emotions that we've stored up into our subconscious minds, and it takes time to let go of all the concepts and beliefs that we have been taught by our families and our cultures, our nations, and our religions that deny our oneness with God through self-awareness. Divine intelligence will bring a myriad of means to help us transcend false beliefs about ourselves that have been programmed into our subconscious minds. So be patient with yourself and others who may not understand the process that you're going through. I assure you that once you see the truth of who you really are, you won't be able to deny it. There's so much freedom and power here. There is no going back. Instead, you will just hunger and thirst for more truth. The words I'm using can only point you to this truth. It's something that's already inside you, just waiting to be rediscovered. Consciousness can't be understood by the mind. Your egoic thoughts will try to distract you every time that you set aside time to be in stillness. The ego will tell you that you're not good enough to be one with God. Jesus said you have to die to be reborn, but the ego will work every angle possible to stay alive. You, as conscious awareness, exist in divine perfection with God. But you also exist in this world as a limited human expression of divinity. This personal you is the one with all the roles and the concepts and personality. It's all of your thoughts and your feelings and this body that you're in. Transcendence is a gradual opening of our eyes to see ourselves as consciousness rather than as just this personal self. Now, here's an analogy that helped me grasp this concept a little bit better. Let's say that the real you is a ray of sunlight. And as a ray of light, you are a perfect expression of the sun. As a matter of fact, you contain everything that the sun contains, but you are not the whole sun. Your ray of sunlight shines on the personal you that's moving around on the earth. You're fascinated by all the thoughts and the emotions and personality of the personal you. Then one day you wonder, where did my light come from? So in one moment you decide to turn your light away from this personal you and to look at the sun. And when you do, you see that the sun is the source of your light and that you are light because you're part of the sun. And this is the first time that you realize that you are one with God, one with the divine intelligence that governs all of the multiverses. And further, that you are just one of an infinite number of rays of light coming from the sun. And through your connection with the sun, you are connected to everything and everyone in the universe. Now you see that you're one with every person and every living creature in the world. You begin to see every person just as you see yourself. So when you have a thought of the past as a personal you, that now is fading as the center of your life. You realize that you're not your thoughts or your emotions or your body. Those things just come and go. They're not eternal. But you, as eternal consciousness, this one with God person that you really are, you will never born and you will never die. Oh, that's such a good thought. Jesus was the perfect example of always being centered in conscious awareness. The Bible tells us that he went up to the mountain early in the mornings to pray. And prayer is where our humanity looks inside to reaffirm the divinity that's inside each of us. This is where Jesus felt comfort and joy and the power to go about doing good. This is where he was reminded of his identity as being one with God. And in his true identity that he never lost sight of, Jesus knew what to say and do in each moment. He didn't listen to the Pharisees who told him that he was blaspheming to say that he was one with God. But instead, when he heard people cry out to him, he felt compassion for them. As Christ consciousness, he wept as he felt the grief that Mary and Martha were feeling after the loss of their brother Lazarus. He was actually feeling the separation of body and spirit that Lazarus was feeling, being in the tomb for 4 days. Jesus was the one who was being shamed and reviled by others as the blind man who sat by the gates of the temple begging for alms from everybody. Jesus bore all the scars and felt the pain of the little boy who was demon-possessed and threw himself into the fire. Jesus never felt any separation from anybody. He instead felt all the pain and all the suffering of everyone who came to him needing help. And in his oneness consciousness, he spoke with the authority of love, and he healed them, and he raised them from the dead. In every case, Jesus brought them out of their misery and stood them on solid ground. Jesus told us that we're one with him and one with God. From Jesus' same Christ consciousness, he told us that we can go about doing greater things than he did. So let's take Jesus' words to heart and not lose sight of who we are. Let's allow love to flow from us naturally, just as it flowed from him. And I believe that this is the ultimate purpose for our life. God bless you. I love you so much. I love being in God's family with you. Bye-bye. Till next time.